And wanted to show you just a short tip here on kind of a camp setup using our ponchos set up as hammocks and our large tarp, the PSTL, set up as a canopy covering, and also using our new personal survival blanket as a sleeping bag wrapped around the hammock. And we have some separate videos on the blanket set up around the hammock, but just kind of want to show you the overall here. There's so many different ways you can set up the tarps and your hammocks and stuff like that. I just wanted to show you something that we use actually a fair amount when two of us are sleeping together, me and my wife Shauna. Usually when we go up, we usually like to pitch something like this, where one end of the hammocks pitches to one tree and the other end pitches to two separate trees. So we're using 3 trees for 2 hammocks, and it kind of puts us together in here like this. And it's an ideal setup when you're using the large tarp, the PSTL, as a covering. Now, we weren't expecting any heavy weather. There was a forecast of possibly a little bit of rain and that sort of thing, so we just wanted to put it up to be ready. That turned out nothing happened, but still it's easy enough to put up. I kind of call this setup kind of my barn roof setup, because it kind of comes up like this and goes like this. And this one we wound up pulling out a little bit more, but so it doesn't really come down like this side. But that's the cool thing using a tarp versus a tent, is we can set it up so many different ways. Now, as you can see in here, I've got a little bit of headroom. We got some work room inside of here. In this area right here, like I had my little camp stool here with some of my gear on it for the night. I usually will hang like my knife and some of my stuff from the hammock cord and stuff like that. So it gives us a little space in here, out of the weather if we have some, and we still get good ventilation, everything like that. So it works really nicely. So let me show you how I set this up. Oh, look at that. I lost my paracord bracelets almost. Throw that in a box over there. Okay, so on this end down here, we have this one tree that one end of both of our hammocks are tied off to. And so what we did is we tied off 2 parachute cords up here to suspend our tarp canopy. Tied them off to the same tree here, because what we're doing is we're making the tarp canopy kind of flare out in a V shape that kind of matches how our hammocks are. So we're a little closed in more down here than on the other end. We're a little shorter, shorter down here. Up there is taller, it's wider and more open. So we're just kind of matching our setup of our hammocks. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this end. Like we could actually drop this end in and pretty much close it in if we wanted to. You see over here how I've got a piece of the shock cord that comes with the tarp. This actually goes around this tree right here on the second tab up from the corner, and that just kind of pulls out there. The bottom tab I've just got shoved around a broken off stump that somebody hacked off with a hatchet just to keep it from flapping around. It didn't really need anything more. And then over here, sometimes depending on the weather, we might put a stick in here or something to kind of lift this up, or maybe even like this. And we can see just a couple minor changes and we totally change the space inside of there. So you can do whatever you want. For our needs last night, this worked great, just tying off to the corner tab here and down into the ground, just to pull some tension on that slope right there. So let me show you a little more detailed background to the other side, and just show you this, finish off this little setup for you. Actually, before I go around to the front side again, we'll wrap up where we started from. I just wanted to show you kind of a side profile here. And like I say, this is a nice big flat wall here that we do underneath here. We have support with this parachute cord that goes diagonally across here. Then we're tied off down here in the corners right here and down there where I just showed you. And then this is just kind of open like this. Now if the weather was heavier or something, we would tie it off a little bit differently or something like that. But any storminess and stuff like that was coming from that direction here. So that side over there is tied off with a little steeper slope than this side is. And anyway, you can suit your needs however you want. I've sometimes even put a stick right here like this, and then pitch this corner here lower and that one a little lower, and kind of make A-frame end over here. So that can give you even a good bit of space over here on this side. So with this basic setup we've done right here, I've already told you like 3 or 4 different ways that this could be modified to change for whatever needs you have. So now we'll cut around to the front side again and just kind of wrap this up for you. Okay, so here we are back around to the front side again. So you see this tree right here, the parachute cord for the canopy is right here to give a little support here over the top of where the hammock is hung. Same thing here, we got our canopy support here going down to the hammock here. And then I might do a little close-up here in a second of some of this, just do a pan around. But what we did here in the middle, now sometimes I've actually put a pole right here and then fast tied it out, guide it out to the front like this to kind of pull along the ridge line. We don't have any cord along the ridge line, we're actually pulling directly on the tarp itself. It's strong enough to take a good pull, but we've tied it up a little bit higher so it gives us a little more height here in the front area. I could pull it up even a little bit more, that wouldn't be any difficulty, but this suited us fine the way this is. And all we've done is tied from that tree to that one and went through this tie-out tab right here, and then I just used a simple taut line right here to tension it up. So that's one of many ways you can do it. We've done it before where we've even put poles right here instead of using the guy lines. I mean, there's all kind of ways you can do it, but as you can see, it's a nice big open area in here, plenty of room to stretch out and everything, and we have enough coverage from the side for for mild weather and that sort of thing. And if we needed to change it for heavier weather, we could pitch it down a little more on the sides, kind of tighten it up a little bit. All based on the very same type of setup right here. Like I say, I kind of call this the barn roof type setup. So let me show you a little bit of close-up here, and just ignore some of the cordage hanging here. Sometimes I try to be a little more neat with the leftovers hanging around, but I didn't really care this time, so everything, it just is the way it is. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of pan around here and just give you a little quick view of everything, a little closer up. So here's our tie off to the center tab to give us our lift in the peak of our shelter here. And just like I say, just using a simple taut line right there to pull the tension between the two trees right here. Okay, and then right here, just another taut line right here. We're tied off to the tree, where both of everything is tied to right there. Coming back right here to this tree, a taut line to pull that out. I could even have taken it through this loop right here to give it even a little more security if I wanted to. Or if I needed to pull a little tension on it, see, I could have even done like this, and before I tensioned this, I could actually pull a loop in here and go through here, and then I could actually pull. I could even pull a little tightness in here if I wanted to. But like I say, it was set up to match the needs that we had. Now inside here, I used to pitch my hammocks a lot higher than I do now. I don't mind being just a foot or so off the ground when I'm in there really now. You know, so I pitch them a lot lower now, but doesn't really matter. This is the hammock I was sleeping in. It's a long PSTL multicam long poncho set up as a hammock, and over the top of it I've got a tall personal survival blanket, and and basically I've got it set up so it wraps all the way around the hammock and comes over and overlaps in the front. So when I get in there, I'm enveloped in the blanket. And wasn't bad temperature last night, so a good part of the night I had my head out or whatever. Had a little coolness earlier this morning, and I kind of pulled it over me, but you know, that's whatever you need to do. One thing I would point out in here is the guy lines and stuff like that are support lines inside here. A lot of times I'll take one of my flashlights out of a carabiner and I'll hook it over the guy line, and then when I'm laying in my hammock, if I need to flip it on or off, it'll light up the whole inside of here, and it's right there handy over my head. So that's another advantage to running your support cordage over the top of where your hammock is, because that gives you a place to secure your you know, little things like that. And then we'll take you around and show you a couple other things here. Okay, now I did mention that on this one side I just used every tarp comes with 3 of these shock cords with a cord lock on it, so that gives you an adjustable way to secure things real quickly and simply. Okay, and then up here now we have this right here is a ridge line basically going over Shauna's hammock. This one over here is going over my hammock, and then we're basically keeping tension on the ridge of the tarp with another one of these shock cords, as you can see right here with the cord lock on it, and that's pulling tension on here to keep it from getting loose, like that. That pulls it back and keeps a little tension on it. And then both of our hammocks are secured together right here, as you can see right there. Now, one thing I would mention is this is hard maple, mountain maple, and it's pretty stout tree. We did find that this is probably, it gives a little more than we would like with both of us in our hammocks, and it was suitable for last night. But what I have done before, if that's just the choice, is I have taken sometimes a cord from, like, say this tree right here back to, say, one of those right there. It's about 15 feet, and I have taken a paracord and done something like where I tie between the 2 trees and pull good tension on it, just to give this tree a little bit of support. But I mean, it was fine, it was doable. I wouldn't want to have anybody bigger than us in there, but on that one, but it did just fine. So anyway, so this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation with a little camp sleeping setup tip for you. And we had a great time up here, beautiful weather in the late spring, and we just had a great time. We got a lot of relaxing done and that sort of time. We got up in the high country a little bit earlier today and saw some of the snow still melting up there. But hope you get out and have a good time in the outdoors yourself, and hope to see you around whenever, or catch us on another video, and we'll kind of keep you updated on new things going on. So once again, Perry Peacock, Wilderness Innovation. Have a great day in the outdoors.